Welcome back
to the Not So Perfect Podcast. As always, I am Matt Shin with our lovely co-host
Gerardo Cornejo here on October 1st, 2025.
Happy October 1st.
Happy fourth quarter, everyone.
Fourth quarter.
It's one of my favorite quarters. Yeah.
Fourth quarter, baby.
This is when Tom Brady gets the ball. This is when Michael Jordan gets the ball and Kobe gets the ball.
Yep.
It's the greatest step up in this quarter.
Absolutely. So
you can always treat it like a fourth quarter.
What we got going on today, G?
Today we have, let me see, business is booming.
Business is booming.
Everybody, there's changes going on. The market is looking, it's starting to get busy. The interest rates are going to drop, so we're seeing more inventory. It's a very healthy market. A lot of inventory, a lot of sales.
Good.
So very busy. And how are your clients doing? We had a great success story this morning.
Clients are doing great. Yeah, right before we shot this, my last client, he October 1st, he told me about a month ago when he started working out with me, he had a date set, and that date was October 1st, and he quit smoking. So he's 3 days.
But he quit smoking before October 1st.
He quit Monday.
Yeah,
so
he's ahead
3 days in. Yes, 3 days in.
He's ahead of schedule.
But he's doing great. You know, he's going through the initial effects of quitting smoking when he's done it since he was about 10 years old. So, yeah, doing a lot of hacking and coughing.
Body's going to be in shock for a little bit.
Yeah, but, he's doing it the right way. He's making sure he's, in his downtime, he's got stuff to keep his mind busy, because a lot of that, especially the first week, 2 weeks, month, it's just the habit of every time you get in your car, you grab for a cigarette. Every time there's just little triggers that you have that you don't realize you're conditioned to.
It's almost us with our phones now.
It's the exact same. It was me whenever I quit social media, and then I'd pick my phone up and just stare at it and not, what are you doing? I don't know.
How have you been since then?
I want to, but what am I missing?
How have you been since then?
Good.
Freedom?
I'm over
free?
the hump now. Yeah, I don't think about it as much, and I just notice I'm more present in whatever it is I'm doing.
I was at the gas station today, I pump the gas, and then I go to that, and it's just like I open it, and it's just like poison. Like, oh my God, this is fed to billions of people.
Yeah.
Billions of people are reading it, and it's tough that's how people start their days off.
Mm-hmm.
It's wonderful having your routines.
Start your day off with some of the worst stuff you can possibly put in your brain, and that's what you're fueling your brain with to start. So yeah, it's I feel better. I feel 1,000 times better. I'm not as distracted. I'm not, I'm just more present.
Yeah. And
that was part of the goal. That was part of the goal of what I wanted. I needed to be more present in whatever it is I'm doing. Not just one thing, not just when I'm here, not just when I'm at home, but all aspects of my day. And guess what? It's freed up a lot of time.
And you're working towards some marathons, so you need that. You need to focus.
Marathon week, yep. So first marathon of this year is going to be this Sunday up in St. Charles, the Mo Cowbell full marathon. So yeah. Do
you have to run with earplugs on that one? You're just hearing cowbells the whole time?
Once you get off the finish line, once you get off the start line, the cowbell drops off dramatically, so it should be okay. But yeah, so we got that this Sunday, so I'm going to go up Saturday night, stay the night in St. Charles, and then, do that Sunday. So
with Mr. Buffington? Is that the one you're doing with Josh?
Nope, this one's solo.
Okay,
solo
representing.
Mission. Yep, representing JC Mo. But so doing this one October 5th, the Mo Cowbell, and then me and Josh Buffington are doing November 2nd in Springfield at the Bass Pro.
Okay, that's the one you guys are doing.
That's the one we're doing together,
cool.
Yep. So,
well, good luck this weekend. We'll have results for you guys next week.
Yeah, yep.
Shooting for a PR. Is there any goals or just?
Not so much for this one. Kind of just more of a warm-up for November.
So Matt warms up with a marathon to go to the next marathon.
Yeah, well, if you go over the track record, that's not the craziest thing I've ever done before. So that's what we're going to do.
Awesome. Well, good luck.
Appreciate it.
Good luck. And we always try to pick a cool, fun, interesting subject or what's happening that weekend. This week has kind of been, I've been doing a lot of thinking about the business and where it's going, but always reflecting on what it's taken to get here. So a friend of mine dropped in yesterday, incredible entrepreneur, just sold his company, built it from nothing, and it turned out to be international, and he was name dropping a few names that he's worked with.
A few celebs.
And he's worldwide, I mean, Hall of Famers, there's celebs and there's Hall of Famers. He's been on the cover of magazines. His work has, but he sold his company now, and he came here yesterday to our meeting So again, showing my team like, hey, here's a different angle of business.
Yeah.
You know, and he was in the music furniture industry, we'll call it, entertainment or television music industry furniture. And he's worked with Amazon is one of his big names recently. And you always think like, oh, we got an Amazon account, and then it's like, it was a nightmare. That was the last. That was the last one.
Job he took.
That was the last straw of should I still be in this or not. That was the sign of because it's its own business on how they're developing things. So there was like 12 bosses.
Yeah.
They all had to sign a code of conduct of the packet, you know, and it was like, we're just here to build furniture.
Yeah.
But you had to have dress code.
OSHA,
you had to be escorted
OSHA
to the bathroom.
certifications.
Yeah, you had to be escorted to the bathroom and hearing all this stuff. But this is like 32, 35 years into his business, you know, at the very end. So that wasn't the bread and butter of the business, but word got around of how good they are and the work they did and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
we'll starting small and look where.
yes,
Look
so,
where it
so
led him,
starting
you know?
what it takes, and it's decades, you know, depending on where you want to be and what you want.
Yeah.
But the coolest thing today, my friend Dave said.
And I got to meet Dave yesterday. Gerardo introduced me to him. Seemed like a super great guy. I didn't know the whole backstory until now, so we're all learning about Dave.
He's still a rock star. He still performs, but the one thing he could break it down to was he was like just the opportunity to help. Mm-hmm. I woke up every morning and had an opportunity to change things, change people's lives, and help. Wrote that down, you know, because it's always one sentence that makes that that at least it clicks with me, you know. And it was I woke up with a different attitude today.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, I have emails, yes, I have a bunch of text messages, but all right, here's my opportunity to help.
Yep.
And then you have your schedules. That's what it's based on. Mm-hmm. Who am I helping?
That's crazy that this is the topic. So I didn't know what the topic was till we literally rolled. So it's basically what it takes, correct? Yeah. So last night I was sitting at home, got home from work, you know, took the dog for a walk and all that stuff, was trying to wind down. And I got a text from a client that was about that long. So I'm like, usually that's not a good sign. It's like, oh boy, this is probably going to be a complaint about something. But this time was about just thanking me for introducing her to something she had not been doing for a large part of her life. And that was putting herself on a level of importance where instead of being husband, kid one, kid two, work, blah, 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 she's now putting herself up near the top. So just taking the time to get stronger, get healthier, lose weight, feel better, look better, has impacted every aspect of her life. And these are her words, not mine. You know, so she said, you know, at the end of it, you know, I know most of the time if you do get a comment, it's usually negative, but I just want you to know that I appreciate what you've done and just kind of opening my eyes to what else is still out there that I didn't know existed.
Can you say what age category she's in?
This one's my age.
Okay.
Yeah, 39 or 40, but yeah.
Okay.
Yep, but she's a very high-functioning person. You know, she's head of the household in terms of getting the kids ready and just all the mom duties and picking up from school, dropping off at school, working a full-time job as a nurse, like high stress, very busy, just one thing after the next, you know.
Huge shout out to those moms that run our families and still have the career to deal with.
Yep, and yeah, so anyways, she said that to me, and my response back was, look, I'll tell you the same thing I tell everybody else, like, this is why I love doing what I do. You know, there's so many people that go through life putting themselves at the bottom rung, and you know, we need to take better care of ourselves. You know, and that starts with working on us, whether that be physically getting active, cardiovascularly, mentally, spiritually. You know, if you find yourself in a dead-end career path and you want to do something about it, you can. You know, there's time, and that doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but anything that you want, anything worth doing is going to be challenging. You know, it's going to require sacrifice. It's going to require all sorts of things that are going to throw your current world in chaos. But if it's something you want to do and you're dedicated, you can do it, you know, so.
And it's one day at a time.
Yeah.
It's the hardest thing train our brains to do.
Well, I'm sure Dave didn't start 35 years ago thinking, boy, one day I'm going to be working for Amazon. You know what I mean? Like,
which we found out it wasn't his dream.
Yeah, and it turns out once you got to that pinnacle, it turns
like
out
that's not what I wanted.
Nightmare of your life.
So and like your client, that he has what was his token for 3 months?
No, he got his 30-day coin.
His 30-day coin, and now he's this accomplice. He is killing it.
Yeah.
He is killing. So the keeping the momentum part is it's important who you surround yourself with and who holds you accountable.
Yeah, and I mean just hearing him talk, like he smiles, he's happy, he's got joy in his life. Like I think that's a lot of the things that people miss, in these transformations, whether it be just with sobriety and then quitting smoking and starting an exercise program or any one of those. You don't realize how miserable you are until you stop. And see just what it's like to not be hindered by alcohol all day or hindered by smoking cigarettes and coughing crap up or, then going to your physical and finding out you got early stages of emphysema, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things that, and whatever it is you're trying to pursue or whatever, if you're just stuck in a hole or in a rut, you have the capability to dig yourself out of it, but you're going to have to change what you're doing because obviously what you've been doing has led you to this point, and if it's led you nowhere good, take a step back and analyze things. What's working? What's not? Do you need a better relationship with your wife? Do you need a better relationship with your kids? Do you need to just communicate with your wife a little bit better about how to have a better relationship for the household? So there's
conversations that need to be had.
The hard conversations that so many people I talk to do not have. And I can't speak to what that's like. I'm not married. I don't have a wife. I don't have kids. So, unfortunately not something that I can elaborate on. But I take experiences from those close to me, my friends, my buddies, my family members that are, struggling with whatever it is, But a lot of it's just sitting down for 5 minutes and having that hard conversation because we've talked about it before. None of us are mind readers, so we don't know if you're in a good spot or a bad spot, but if we communicate, at least I know, okay, well, I know he's struggling with this, like, maybe not harp on him on this all the time if it's something he's already battling internally, but that could be a 5-minute conversation, that people are just too afraid to have.
And we're talking about daily. We all need this daily.
Yeah.
We got 5 minutes is all it's going to take for just to get your mindset correct or snap you out of it. Because 24 hours in our own brains is scary.
It is scary. Yeah, and I can definitely speak to that. It is scary. There were days I didn't want 5 minutes in my own head, but obviously I don't have that choice to make. But, it's just something that you got to be hungry and you got to be wanting more, And
that's seriously what it takes. You got to want it. I was sitting with one of my coaches last week because I was like, all right, find my blind spots. What am I not thinking of? Why am I thinking this way? What should I do? She goes, well, what do you want? I'm like, dang it, why did you ask me that? Why are we starting with that? Because it's like, I don't know what I want. She's like, how big do you want your team to be? I was like, I don't know. I don't really care. Like, I just want everybody to be happy and help people out. And so then, of course, we dial it all in. But those are hard questions to answer.
Yeah.
What do you want? And I've always, the last 2 decades, I've known exactly what I wanted. I wanted to build a house. I wanted a backyard for my family. I wanted the toys, and I wanted multiple cars and boats.
Detached garage.
And then I wanted that, so I went and got it, But now it's like, man, it's all here. Not that we've completely made it and I don't want anything else, but it's a dream to actually have accomplished it. But again, what did it take every freaking day for the last 19 years of helping people and showing up?
But another thing good, too, is just, taking that break every now and again and just looking back at those 19 years and look what you have done because you couldn't be where you're at today without those previous 19 years, So, I mean, it's, again, as hard as we are on ourselves and as much as we're just constantly striving to keep moving forward, every now and again, it's good to take a little time out and acknowledge what you've done. I'm not saying you got to get all up in your big head about it or anything like that, but just take the second to be like, you know what? Give yourself the credit you deserve. I have busted my ass.
That's why I asked how old your client was.
And I do have these things to look back on and say, man, so much better now than when it was when we were just barely getting by, or like really depending on that closing to end on October 29th so you can make that mortgage payment for November, or whatever it is. But again, taking the time to appreciate those little things in life, those little accomplishments that at the time didn't seem like much, but maybe that's what got you rolling to where you're at now.
And on the parenting side, you raised the kid to 5 years old. You raised the kid. We kept them alive without like the cheat sheet, without the cheat book. Like, and they love us. That's the biggest accomplishment. And it's hopefully you'll get to experience it one day.
One day,
if that's what you want.
Yeah.
But that's the ultimate what it takes. It's being a parent, because that nobody ever buys you out of your children.
Yeah.
You could never sell them off. Nobody will ever pay you that much. You can't create it to that. They are your footprints. You gotta. We were in the Top of the Rock museum down there in Branson, and one of the quotes was like, "Have I done everything I have for my grandchildren? Not your children." Like that sentence just blew me away. I was like, whew, I thought my children was enough to think about. I was like, okay, so the next 40 years of my life, hopefully if I get them, that's what I have to focus on.
Yeah, well, I was telling that guy that quit smoking, my client, before we started the podcast, told him, I said, here's what I tell myself is, I didn't do a great job on the first 35 years of my life, so I'm going to try and do better on the next 35 years of my life. And that's my mission today. I keep it real simple, but that's from a zoomed out scope. I don't have all my specifics pinpointed here and there, but what's your overall goal? Okay, let's zoom in a little bit, and then you can work on the specifics of how exactly you want to go about doing those.
And even if 35 years sounds discouraging, go to 35 months, go to 35 weeks, go to 35 days. The next 35 minutes, you can really improve your life by fixing the next 35 minutes.
Yeah, well, I mean, I couldn't have that introspection on looking back on the past 35 years of my life, working towards the next 35 years. I couldn't do that at the beginning whenever I got sober. I had to take it 1 minute by 1 minute, and then I was able to go from 5 minutes to 5 minutes, and then 10. I mean, it's a slow process of doing that. So, I mean, that's where I'm at today. That's not where I started 6 years ago. 6 years ago it was like, okay, keep it together for 5 minutes, which seemed like an eternity, because I was, crazy.
Wow.
Crazy, alcoholic, and just not thinking how a normal person should think or how the average person should think. Just the obsessions and just everything that comes along with that. I've talked a lot about just the defects of character I had whenever I did get sober, and the things I had to take that long, hard look in the mirror at, and it started out with, that question you asked earlier, what do you want? And I know for me, initially, the answer was easy. I want to quit drinking and not live in this prison that I've painted myself into the corner of and that I can't escape, because that was the nightmare every single day, And then after a period of time, I asked myself that again. What do you want? Okay, well, I need to get back to work. I want to be a productive member of society. I want to get back to just some kind of routine now that I'm out of rehab. I'm in the treatment court program, but I need more. I need more to stay busy, because downtime for me was stinking thinking kicks in, and usually bad thoughts follow that thought pattern, or at least it used to. So for me, I just didn't want to go back to that. So I had to stay busy and not have the downtime to think about all the bad stuff I used to do and all the bad things I did to people and all the, just you name it. Because that's where my brain would go. It was just a constant message just over and over again. And then I graduated from treatment court, and I was still working at the restaurant. And then I decided, what did I want to do next? And my buddy Jared was having some issues at that time. So I thought outside the box, and I had the 20-mile-a-day challenge, and that occupied me for a month. And I tell people say, that's so great you did that for him, but as much as it helped Jared, like it helped keep me on track, because I was so focused on this mission and this goal that I wouldn't let, even on the days I was limping and hobbling and just felt terrible. I would think of Jared in that conversation we had that morning at 4:30 when we FaceTime each other, and that gave me all the fuel I needed to get back on that treadmill and to start that damn thing up and to listen to the same podcast for the 19th day in a row, and like you caught up on all your podcasts and your playlists, and it's like, I don't even want to listen to anything. I'm like, I'm so sick of it. But yeah. So I mean, and then once I got done with that challenge, and then Jared passed, and that gave me the legs to start the Capital City race. So I mean, you just never know what's gonna come up next. But just taking the different parts of your life and just taking the time to see. All right, well, back then I was working on this. Now that part's kind of passed, so what's next? So just kind of taking it in stride, and then just your different parts of your life at different times.
It's stressful. There will be stress. That is stressful.
Oh, yeah. There's not one thing I said that will let you think that there's no stress.
We understand it's stressful. I mean, because even, what do you want for yourself? What do you want as a husband? What do you want as a father? And this is how I'm kind of like categorizing everything.
What do you want as a business owner?
And then there's that one. What do you want as a business one that's supposed to, it has to go in that order. Yeah. They're all hard. The children ones are the harder one than most of them, I think.
Well, I bet some people even have a hard time picking between those three things you just laid out.
Yeah.
The wife, the family, the kids,
business.
The job.
Yeah, job or business. Mm-hmm. So it'll never be balanced, but it takes everything you got every day.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the commitment, and that's...
Yeah, because now, look, you have walk-ups, and I love how the traffic you got here. What year are we in now?
This is year 3, I think. I think this is year 3 or 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll send him you get your invoice tomorrow.
Well, I'm looking at my business license.
We'll look at the invoice
I'm looking
tomorrow.
at my business license over there, but I can't squint that far. So we'll check. We'll update you guys next week.
And Matt has been here 99% of those days in the last 3 years.
Yep. Only days I take off are if I'm going to run a marathon or run a race, or that's about it.
Not everybody can. People have tried opening gyms, and did you want a big gym with 500 memberships? And
well, I mean,
you can go to Hormozy and learn that and scale.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and for me, like whenever I was starting off, like I didn't have a lot of money to invest in a big. Yeah, I'd love a huge, astroturfed warehouse that's got all the stuff I need, but that's out of my price range and unrealistic at the time. And then I get a call from Gerardo saying, hey, I know it's been a few years, but I think I got something perfect for you if you're interested. So I called him back, we met up, we walked through here, and it was exactly what I wanted, exactly what I needed at the time, exactly what I could afford at the time. So for me, I was like, if we've got a window to make this work, I'm all in, and then we'll worry about more space later, but I just want to get back to doing what I love, And so, yeah, I mean, that wasn't predestined. That wasn't, we hadn't been talking about it. He just called me out of the blue, and this is where we are, So, I mean, call that what you want, divine intervention or just coincidence.
But well done, sir. Like you got the opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I'm out here giving opportunities, but it was just like you said, it was the perfect.
But you did.
It was the perfect
At that time
match.
in my life, you came into my life when I needed it most, and that's something probably I haven't ever told you before, but I am beyond grateful and appreciative of you, because at that point, like, I was still struggling with like self-worth. I was still working hard and just keeping the wheels moving as fast as I could, but at the same time, I don't deserve anything good. I'm not deserving of anything. Look at my past. I've done all this stuff. Like, I don't deserve anything, and that's the way it was until I started doing the BetterHelp stuff, and really, I got to stop this because it's crushing me. Just constantly thinking negatively about yourself or just talking down to yourself internally. It was driving me crazy. I was about ready to have a nervous breakdown, and it happened right before my 40th birthday. It was like the week of my 40th, and I don't know if that's a reason for it being or if it just all kind of culminated at that time, but I knew I wasn't happy with where I was. I knew there was more out there for me.
Yeah.
So I took a leap of faith, and I was nervous and I was anxious because I haven't ever really done therapy before. But as soon as I got hooked up with Linda, she took care of me and got my head on straight. She recommended some books and some literature for me to read. But most of that was just me talking out loud about what it is that's bothering me, and
getting it out of here.
She wasn't giving me any firework answers or like, well, if we dive in here and peel this layer, but like she's like, you're answering your own questions by just talking out loud. Like, so I think a lot of this internal stuff you got going on is just stuff that needs to be written down in a journal every day, or with us meeting once a week, for our hour session. Like, You have problems with just whatever's in your head, getting it out. Because then you'll just keep harping,
I
keep
think
harping,
people
keep harping.
you guys can relate to that. That's
I
all
hope
of
so.
us.
I hope so.
That
you
is
know?
all of us.
But again, it took a couple weeks of me just changing my thought patterns of how I think about myself, as opposed to who I was living in that past versus who I am today. You know, which is a lot better, a lot different person than I was back then. You know.
Yeah, good. The help helps.
Yeah.
If you can find good help, it definitely helps, because we're all. And that one quote, like, whatever you think you're right, or it says something like that. You're right, and you are right. Like, if you think of yourself as a negative person, you're right. That's how you're thinking of yourself.
Yeah.
You're right. And then somebody's like, you got to get to that point where, no, I'm a badass. There's a book, I Am a Badass.
It's a good one.
And you're a live human being, and go love people and go help them out. You will be all right. You're not that far from it, and it really is not that far, right?
No.
Changing those thoughts from being completely negative to seeing the light to moving over to positivity.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, since I made that move, since January, or early January, starting with BetterHelp, like all those I still have my negative thoughts. I'm not trying to say that I don't, but like as soon as one comes in, I have the tools I need to squash that and get that shit out. So instead of just going in here, kicking around for about 9 days, 2 weeks, three months,
You run a mile per negative thought.
It's in and it's out, But I tell people a lot, like that's why I would run so much, because that's what it took for me. Like I had to run certain distances to get all that shit out, So I mean, early sobriety, there was a lot of shit, Today, not as much shit, but I don't ever want to, because I had a client ask me last week. She goes, "So you run every day and you lift weights every day and that's every day?" I said, "Yeah." Like, "Well, don't you think you're better by now?" I was like, "Maybe." I was like, "But I'm not willing to roll the dice to say, oh, I'm probably good. I don't need to run today," when I fully know that that's what makes me my best, So like, I don't want one opportunity or one day to pass where I don't
that's a great way to put
fulfill that. Now, if I'm feeling like shit, I might not run 10 miles. I might run 3. I might run 5. I might run less, or I might, if I'm feeling sore or just run down, I'll still work out, but I'll just work out a little bit less, But it's something every day.
That's a great point. You feel your best after you've done that.
Oh yeah.
And how many people can truly say, "I feel my best today. I've done my best today. I've completed my best today." And that's what separates the high performers and the people we get to watch on YouTube. They fight and continue every day.
Yeah.
To be that best. Because I ate like shit today, and I had so much sugar and destroyed my breakfast. I'll try again tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and I think people, and I'm guilty of that too. There's days where I've given up on myself way too early in the day. It's 10 o'clock. Well, I guess this day is a wash. Like, no, it's not. Like, we've got so much more time to figure shit out.
Yeah, West Coast barely woke up. It's 8 a.m. over there.
Well, I mean,
Hawaii's still in bed.
Even if you're looking at it from a standpoint of like, okay, what can I do to make myself better from where I'm currently at? There's so many different aspects, and where do I look? Where do I start? Start with a list of what you want, Make a list of what you want, make a list of where you're at.
There's all the tools are out there to help you go get it.
Absolutely.
To lose weight, to gain muscle, to jump higher, to run longer, to swim faster.
Yeah, I mean, take someone like David Goggins that, started off, he was 300 pounds, overweight, miserable, eating milkshakes, eating Twinkies, eating Ding Dongs.
I had a milkshake yesterday, thanks.
And that was his life, and he was miserable. He was spraying for cockroaches, just miserable with where his life had led him, And you look at the guy now, he's done everything. He's checked every box. He's a millionaire. He's sold, best-selling books. He's done physical feats that no one could do, probably no one can do. If there's someone else out there that can do it, I'll wait and watch some videos on it, but I haven't seen anybody else besides maybe Cam Hanes, but they approach things differently for the reason.
He's top one insanest person ever.
He's checked all the physical boxes, the mental boxes, the spiritual boxes, the business boxes, and he started from nothing. And if you haven't read his book,
start with that.
Like, just know where this guy came from, because most of you guys are probably thinking, oh, well, he probably had a family that. No, he did not. He lived on Paradise Lane. He said the only thing that was paradise about that was the street sign. Everything else was hell. That's where he got.
I forgot he sprayed for cockroaches. I forgot that was his job.
That was his breaking point.
Yeah.
He was working in some fast food restaurant or something after hours, and he was spraying an area, and there was like a plate over it, and he kicked it, and the plate fell down, and he said just cockroaches just came swarming out, and he's just like, nope, I can't do this. My life's got more meaning to it than this.
I don't know
what that is.
That was a sign.
But I know it's not this. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
even if you can make that first step of, being where you're at and just miserable and not happy, do something about it. I challenge all of you to get outside of that comfort zone and take that risk. Because if you're dedicated and passionate to do it and to accomplish it and not to stop until it's done, the only thing that's holding you back is what you got going on in your brain.
What's the name of his first book?
Can't Hurt Me.
Can't Hurt Me. Yeah, we read that as with the team early. I think that's the first book we read as our team book club, whatever we want to call it.
Yeah.
And some people remember who's going to carry the boats?
Yeah.
Who's going to carry the boat?
Absolutely. Can't Hurt Boat Crew too. Can't Hurt Boat Crew too. But then there's his second book that he came out with. I'm like, well, I'm going to get it because why wouldn't I? But what else has he got to talk about? And they open with his mother describing what their life was like. And I got goosebumps just talking about it. But it is I remember I was running whenever I was listening to that first chapter, and I started tearing up as I'm running, just hearing his mother's voice. And this was an audible while I was running, so I wasn't reading while I was running. But just to hear her, and it's her voice on the audiobook, but just hearing her talk, and you can hear the sorrow, the pain, the suffering. You can just hear it in her voice when she talks about it, and how she would, maybe there were times where David thought that his mother could have done better. She was doing all that she could. She was doing all that she knew how to do to just keep everybody alive. You know what I mean?
She was doing it.
Fed, and she was gone, working 2 jobs a day. And
I have that book. I haven't even started it.
It's good.
So because it's what more can you talk about after you've laid it all out on this first book?
Well, it goes deeper.
There's always more.
Can't Hurt Me. Another level down, another level deeper into, surface level is Can't Hurt Me, and then the next book is just a little bit deeper into all those things.
Yeah, you could definitely read on those books what it takes to
Yeah.
be at Goggins' level.
Yeah, and anyone that reads that book, that's a tough life.
Yeah.
Most of us are more fortunate than what he had brought up. Some of us aren't, but again, even if you're in the same position that David was, there's a path for you too, and so I mean, there's certain people in my life that people that I kind of look at as larger than life. Not that I actually think of them that way, but they do things that I only wish I could do. You know what I mean? And I do a lot already, but again, there's levels to everything.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the real estate market in Jeff City, and maybe you're the king of that, but then there's Missouri real estate, and then there's nationwide real estate, and then there's worldwide real estate, So as soon as you think you made it, there's 30 other people letting you know this is the entrance point here.
We're always at the front, at the entrance. We're always, it's a great way to think about it.
Yeah, so.
And then speaking of the entrance point, and one of the things I watched yesterday, we were just talking about this. I watched the Dana White 60 Minutes interview. Knew about Dana White. Yeah, he got this $1 billion. Lucky him. Friggin' rich guy. He was already rich anyways. Whoa. I didn't know that much. Where I remember UFC starting. I didn't know he was a part of it from the beginning. Mm-hmm. I thought he was just some rich guy that just threw money at it, and here it just all blossomed to this. But his partners, the Fertitta brothers,
yep.
They're pretty much we can't keep throwing money at this.
Tapped out.
Yeah, this ain't gonna work. But then that's when they came back the next day, I think he said, and they were just fuck it, just
one more.
Just one more time.
One more.
Yeah, just one more time, and the man had a vision.
Just so happened it was The Ultimate Fighter Season 1.
Oh, that's where
Stephen Bonner and Forrest Griffin. Because it was on Spike TV.
Okay,
I remember I was in college in my fraternity. We were watching it, and I think when we first started watching it, there was 4 of us in the room watching. By the time Stephen Bonner and Forrest Griffin got done fighting, I bet we had our entire pledge class stuffed into a 4-person room.
A
It
Pentagon.
was like, oh man, it was. But I mean, that's what I mean. There were people like this is back in the day when we had flip phones, so no smartphones or FaceTime or anything like that. And we were just we were calling buddies like, hey, are you watching Spike TV? Like you gotta. And that's how that wildfire spread for UFC. You know, that's why if you ever hear Dana talk about like Stephen Bonner or Forrest Griffin, like. I've got their backs forever.
I remember them
like
fighting.
They will never be in need of money. Like if it wasn't for them, like I wouldn't be here. You know, so I mean, it's just crazy how.
I'm sure that fight is still on. You can pull it up.
And it's not just that it was because they had like I think 3 different fights or 4 different fights on that hour show, but it was. The last one was the best one. I mean, it was everything. It was the blood. It was these 2 guys just trading back and forth. No one was going down. No one was giving an inch, and it was 2 warriors or gladiators just putting on the performance of their life, and that performance skyrocketed that business into what it is today.
And what Dana always heard is like, this ain't gonna work. Nobody wants to watch this. Nobody wants to watch 2 guys beat the crap out of each other. Nobody's gonna hop in and try to do this and da. And now you have the world trying to fight for what they want to fight for, whatever they want.
Yeah, and you're giving people from all over the world opportunities for a better life.
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of these foreigners that come in, I mean, they come from war-torn countries, extreme poverty. I mean, just the worst of the worst situations, and this has given them an opportunity to flourish. You know, to make a better life for them, their families. You know, generational wealth that they've never experienced before.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. I didn't know that's what it took to grow UFC to where it's at now. And it's still amazing. It's not fake. No. Like these brothers, the YouTube brothers, the Paul brothers, I think, that's show business. That's Hollywood stuff.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dana White for keeping it real.
Yeah, man. He's got a great story.
And he's about to have the White House, the fight at the White House.
At the White House.
Yeah, so and a cool story about it is nobody wanted to host these fights.
Yeah,
because nobody wants to watch these guys.
Talking about the early days.
Yes, back in the early days, and Dana White doesn't even look like what Dana White is now. Back then,
well, now Dana's in shape.
Yeah, just he's beast.
Yeah.
But back in the day, nobody wanted to host these or let him host these events until Donald Trump was like, "Yeah, bring it into my casino. I'd love to watch it." He showed up for the beginning match, and he watched the whole card. And here they are now, doing it at the backyard of the White House.
Well, and I think another thing that's funny too, in that you just mentioned that, just kind of kicked in my head, you know, because President Trump, he showed up at the last UFC I went to down in Miami a year and a half ago. He showed up for that. Like they're like, oh, he's just doing this because he's the president. He was the only one that gave Dana a chance. Like back then when he had it at the Taj Mahal. Yeah. So like Donald Trump has been in there from the ground level. Like he's been supporting that business.
Yeah.
One of the first, you know, and once Trump did it, it seemed to open people's eyes that maybe there is a potential for hosting these things. So, I mean, he's been supporting Dana since day one, you know?
Yeah, and Dana has showed up every day since.
Yeah.
He hasn't given up on it, and it's only got, obviously, a $9 billion deal is kind of just to have the showing rights, just to have the TV rights for it. Not buying out UFC.
Well, now they're going away from the pay-per-view model too. So that's, now it's going to be a $10 subscription to Paramount every month, and you can watch every pay-per-view. Which, I'll admit, I'm not, as much as I love watching it. Like I can't afford $80 to watch a 4 or 6 hour pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Like I can't work that into a monthly budget, especially now that they've got multiple ones a month. I mean, that's a pretty big commitment. So I mean, I'm really excited to see how the non-pay-per-view model works, because I know for me, I'll be tuning in a lot more.
Shoot, was it on Netflix or YouTube? Ones that they've tried already, and they've shut down because so many people were watching it.
Yeah, well, they did the Tyson Jake Paul.
And that was on YouTube or Netflix?
That was Netflix.
Okay, yeah, and it kind of froze up because there was too many people trying to watch.
Yeah. I don't know what the scoop was with that, but it didn't go great. And then they had the Canelo and the Bud Crawford.
Oh, Crawford, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I think there's going to be a lot more starting to pick up more from a digital streaming platform. And
it's the leaders leading the way on that stuff. And Not saying you have to go fight UFC to be successful or start a business.
Hey, everybody's got their path. They're all a
Yeah.
little bit different, but hopefully you guys all end up in the same place.
And another huge cool thing this week of what it takes is Bad Bunny has been made halftime show. Of course, the hate, no matter who gets involved, there's going to be hate. But huge opportunity for our huge blessing for our Hispanic community. Even though Puerto Rico is part of the United States, they're still speaking Spanish over there. So it's this Hispanic heritage. You go there, it doesn't feel like United States.
Right.
It feels like you're in a Hispanic country, Latino country.
Well, shoot, you go down to parts of Miami and you might think the same.
Yeah, you're like, oh, this is Cuba. This is Puerto Rico. That's all you will hear.
Yeah.
You know, so again, Bad Bunny started as a little small artist, and then he show business. He was flamboyant, whatever. But we followed him from the beginning because it's part of our culture, that music, you know. And I finally got to go to one of his concerts, and it was the top number one. I didn't want that concert to end, and it's hard to feel that way sometimes because you see you're starstruck anyways when you go to concert.
Right.
You hear your songs, you're recording it the whole time. Boom, it's over, encore. But no, this one, like I've never been to a concert where 100%, 99% of the building was singing every single song the entire 2 hours of the presentation.
Yeah.
We didn't want it to end, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna blow it away. Our community's gonna love it. We're actually gonna have our language is gonna be heard.
Representation.
Yeah, our freedom of speech is gonna be represented because all the comments and all the negative things that people are saying is like, that's what we all hear as Hispanics. That's what we're afraid of that. That's why we don't speak out because we're like, hey, it's the NFL, speak English. Hey, it's an American sport, put Metallica on. No, I love Metallica myself. I'm not the one hiring these dudes, but what it took for Bad Bunny to get to he's in Adam Sandler movie. They get along. They're cool dudes, and I've seen the memes now. Like he's going from caddy to the Super Bowl halftime show, you know. But nobody knows what it has taken for him, what he has given back to our people, our community. He's the number one person on Spotify, the number one streaming artist on Spotify, and it's amazing what watching him do this to get to the Super Bowl level. You know, so our community is so proud of that. We're excited to watch the show. I know not too many people are because they don't know what he is. But again, it's Jay-Z and NFL working on like, hey, let's get a different crowd. We know who's going to watch the game.
Right.
The NFL fans, whoever you are, you're going to watch the game regardless. Even if the Chiefs aren't in it, 90% of Missouri is going to be watching it.
Still going to be watching.
Yeah. So then what an opportunity to get because I'm pretty sure just the halftime show viewings from the Hispanics watching it around the world.
Going to go skyrocketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what the Super Bowl average is like 100 million viewers or whatever it is, 400 million viewers, I guess.
Something like that.
Big number.
Huge.
But then you go to the World Cup championships, you're in like 2 billion territory. Like a third of a good chunk of the world is watching.
A quarter of the planet is watching soccer.
A quarter of the planet, there you go, is watching that one thing. So it's the international is bigger. There's something bigger outside of all of this.
Isn't that a Jay-Z quote? Won the Super Bowl and drove off in a Hyundai.
Is that a Jay-Z? I remember hearing it.
I think it's a Jay-Z song. But
yeah.
I just love that.
But it's cool again.
So Bad Bunny's going from caddy to Super Bowl. Hopefully he's not driving off.
No, he's going from way down. Just a little kid from Puerto Rico with humongous dreams.
Yeah.
And I hope it doesn't get translated because his music is not motivating music.
Okay.
You know, it's dirty. It's dirty. It's action. It's fun. It's partying. But it's a good vibe, and hopefully. You see the heritage. Hopefully you see the Puerto Ricans. And that is the part of the United States where people, I don't know if they're doing it for that. Like, even though we're dealing with this ICE stuff, that Puerto Rico is still, because there's a guy I don't like who does podcasts, nothing against him, but whatever. But he just thinks very high of himself, and he's like, so why do we have this guy? What do we even have, pesos or dollars there? Like, what's that peso convert to? It's like, it's a U.S. territory. He is a U.S. citizen. He was born in Puerto Rico. So again, just you have to be very careful what you speak out about. If you don't know, then just say you don't know.
Yeah, and hey, saying you don't know, that can hold a lot more weight than
Yes.
acting like you do when you don't.
Yeah, but
You know?
to hear that guy who thinks he's big time and it's like, all right. Well, I don't listen to him anyways, but
Yeah.
congratulations to Bad Buddy on what it has taken to get to this point. It is the biggest stage in the United States for entertainment.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yep. No, I'd much
And
rather.
we've seen them all from the Michael Jacksons
Oh, yeah.
to Timberlake and Paula Abdul.
Prince.
Oh, no, Janet Jackson.
Prince.
Prince knocked it out of the park. It is what it is. It's just a stupid
Yeah.
show
Well,
for
remember,
viewing.
Remember they had the one in L.A. where they had all the L.A. The old school L.A. rappers come on for the Super Bowl.
That was like
performance?
last. No, that was a couple years ago.
It was when it was in St. Louis. So it was like, or no, not St. Louis, but L.A.
Dr. Dre,
St.
Snoop
Louis
Dogg.
Rams, L.A. Rams. But yeah, Snoop Dogg, Dre. I mean, all the West Coast.
Yeah,
like,
that had us
OGs.
up and dancing.
Oh, I was pumped, dude. Yeah, 'cause that brings you back to an easier, softer time, you know?
It was for us.
Things were a little bit less complicated.
Yeah, it was for us. So still, God, every day doing what it takes. And I'm glad, like what you said too about this space, you know, and everybody here. Dave walked through the building. He's like, "What's this?"
Yeah.
But he just walked through the kitchen.
There's a new thing every freaking room's a different small business.
And
you know?
Heather has taken advantage of the opportunity, making connections, speech therapy in the building. Keith Borgmeyer Photography
Shout out.
has he's reached the pinnacle in his art and his work, you know, that we admire. And we're like, Keith, can you just give us a discount, please? Like, it's so perfect. Like, hook us up. The insurance girls are, I don't know. It's a cool community to be. We're all still doing what it takes.
I wouldn't want anyone else different in this building. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, and we're all entrepreneurs. We're all starting on that. We all have families, and it's. I think we're gonna. Yeah, we're all.
We're all in this together.
Yeah, we're
yeah.
all in this
and
together.
there's been days where we've had to help some of the other people in here that are having a tough time, and been days where G's had to talk me up, and days where I talk with G, and
Vice versa.
we're just here for each other, you know. And
Yeah.
strength in numbers. If we're doing this by ourselves, it's going to be a lot harder than if we've got a team around us, you know. So
Yeah.
I love coming around here, working in this space because everybody seems to be very like-minded and not from an intentional standpoint. You know, we were all the people that you brought in this building were already kind of on that path of what they wanted, what they know they need, and what they got to do to get it. And it's contagious. You know, it's like it spreads through here. You know, like the days maybe you don't want to do anything, and then you see me run by the front of the building, you're like, okay, all right, you know. So sometimes it just takes a little something like that. But when we got a whole community of those people in this building, it's pretty easy to stay up.
Yeah, get around those who can help you get to
Surround yourself with people that are going to make
what
you
you
better.
want and get whatever you. Find out what it takes. People
Yeah.
that know what it takes.
Yeah,
And thank you guys for watching. I think we're gonna wrap it up.
we're good.
Good
All
luck
right.
this weekend.
Yes, thank you guys. Mo Cowbell, St. Charles, Missouri. There's probably a link if you wanted to follow me, but the race is Sunday. Starts at 7, hopefully be done before 11.
And whatever it takes is whatever you want.
Yep.
Bam.
All right,
Adios.
guys. Till next time. See
Thank
ya.
you.